as always, give all praises, honor, and glory to our Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Hashem, Shai, well, the true leaders of the nation of Israel. We're out here once again, okay, to prophesy the downfall of America, Babylon the Great. Right? Now it's judgment against our captives. We saw Edom, suffering white people. Right? And now it's a judgment upon you heathen nations. Okay? Telling our people to repent, otherwise perish. I know, pretty much given, everything that we see, we understand, man, that the signs are all there, alluding to Yahweh Shai's coming. Okay? It's only a matter of time. All right? Let's stop it.
Okay. This is Matthew chapter 24 and verse 3. It says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world?
Yeah, because, Yahweh Shai's disciples, okay, back then, would inquire of the times, because they wanted the kingdom of heaven, all right? It's just that things still had to play out, Yahweh Shai, had a ascent, going to the Father, and sit at his right hand, all right? And Yahweh Shai gave our people, signs to look for in his coming, man. And seeing everything that we see now, it's all coming together. It's all, it's all there for us to see and understand that Yahweh Shai is coming sooner than we believe, man. All right?
Right, so it says, and Yahweh Shai answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many.
Yeah, many take heed that no man deceive you. Many shall come in my name, saying, I am anointed. You have that, man. You have, literal individuals that are trying to claim themselves to be the Lord, claim themselves to know, something, all right? False teachers, man, false anointing, false, prophets, are out here. The men in Great Millstone, beginning with our elder apostles, other bishops on down, are here to tell you the 100% truth. Right. But like it says, with him was strength and wisdom. Deceived and the deceiver are his. So we got certain individuals that are set up to mislead the non-elect. Okay.
Right. I had a precept in the book of 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Just to back up what you were reading. What I was reading in Matthew 24. This is 2 Peter 2 and 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privately shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction.
You see that, man. Amongst the circumcision, amongst them that know themselves to be Israelites, claim to know this, the knowledge, wisdom, understanding of the Heavenly Father. What are they doing? They're misleading the people. They're not giving the proper warning. They're not telling you what things to come. They're not giving you, raw, unfiltered truth. They're coming with some damn, ulterior motive, antics, certain things to fit play on their following, Jake's flesh, tell them what feel, hear sounds good.
Yeah, that's why the scripture say, they shall heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. Like you said, if it sounds good, if it feels good, then that's the truth. Which, ain't always gonna sound good and feel good. The truth sometimes can hurt, and the truth sometimes can be ugly. It's not gonna always be a piece of cake.
Hey, the Lord told his men to go out and speak, to lift up that voice like a trumpet and show his people their transgressions. You think that's going to come with, some little smooth talk? Oh, no. The prophets, man, the men of the Lord are going to come at you live and direct. Tell you that you're going on. Yeah, that's going to hurt. But if you're in the right spirit, you're going to take heed and come back to repentance, man.
Right.
Because, the true men of the Lord, they're not set up to just, give you people what sounds good. Of course, the gospel tells good news. There's good things coming to the Lord's people. The Lord is getting ready to come down with judgment. Heavy, sword destruction upon this place. That's why it's imperative. That's why it's imperative, for us to acknowledge what the Heavenly Father is doing in the earth and turn back to unto Him.
Now we know the scriptures talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. The sour. The bitter, and then you have the sweet. See, our people they like this false perception that the Heavenly Father is good all the time. That's not a balance, man. Okay? All the works of the Lord, at the end of the day, are righteous and are good. But, there's a balance. The Lord, like Scripture say, He creates peace and He creates evil. Okay? Because a false balance is an abomination to the Lord. So this narrative of, nothing but good can come through the truth. That's a delusion. That's a false ideology. Let me just read something. It says, now this is 1 Corinthians chapter 14. I start at verse 8. It says, for if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? So the trumpet, which is representing us, being a mouthpiece of the Lord, giving warning or sounding an alarm, in the midst of Jerusalem. All right? And Jerusalem is really talking about the people before the place. The Hebrew Israelites, so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. So we're out here blowing the trumpet and, give a warning to our people. But it said, if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? So, if that trumpet giving an uncertain sound is metaphorically speaking about, false prophets, teaching damnable heresies, which is false doctrines. Okay? Going off, making false statements. All right? And that's why rebuke and correction is very important in this thing of ours. Because we all have to speak the true doctrine, man. That's no man. I'll go back to Matthew. It says, for many shall come in Matthew 24:5. For many shall come in my name, saying, I am the anointed, and shall deceive many. It says, and we shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
You shall hear wars and rumors of wars. That's why you see, tensions going on around, those important choke points for trade. These various nations are going at it, and tensions are brewing up. Ultimately, it's going to go into a wider escalation or a bigger conflict over there in the east. Battle of Armageddon, mountain troops, border indoor wars. But right now, you're just seeing the buildup because things still have to play out. The outside says it here. It says, see that you be not troubled. But all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. We shouldn't be troubled because we have the comfort of the scripture. We understand where we're at in prophecy. It's just we got to maintain. We got to keep on doing the work. Hope that the Lord is put us through it.
Right. So it says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be earthquake, and there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes in diverse places.
Famines, pestilences, earthquakes in diverse places. Speaking on the famines, a lot of insight to what's going on. These major choke points of trade being slowed down and stopped. People understand that eventually it's gonna get to a point. Food prices go up to a point people can't even afford them. The global supply chain grew. At some point, second Ezra 6 is going to come into play. Full storehouses at 70 pound minimum. And not to mention, Revelation, I think, 9th chapter, right? It speaks on 6th chapter.
The black horse?
Yeah, the black horse. Days wages for bread. That's part of the family too. Hyperinflation, food price going on.
Yeah. There was many times in history where there was resource shortage or famine, right? Now I did a show like last week about diesel fuel shortage, and with this whole war in Iran, with the closing of the Strait of Hormuz and like the trades that have been blocked or paused, the trade routes and stuff, that's leading to America to overextend into their resources, which is going to plummet the dollar and cause a chain reaction of multiple things to occur, such as lack of goods coming in, lack of being able to get these cars running and get commerce properly functioning, which is the infrastructure. A lot of things revolve around using oil and diesel gas. So that's going to help speed this famine up.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I thought you were going to mention you got to mention the earthquake that's happened in Colombia.
Yeah, that's one that just happened in Indonesia too. Magnitude 7 something.
So that's just another sign, earthquakes, Colombia,
It's funny too because look up Indonesia, June 30th. I'm not saying I was like, it's funny how all these places that get sacked by big earthquake, get burnt up somehow mysteriously. You know, like Esau got his right then as well.
Probably.
Yeah, they have an agenda to build these places up. With, new digital infrastructure, smart cities and so on. Compliance agendas, climate, SDGs. It's the Lord ultimately. I'm not gonna say, I know specifically Esau did it, but nonetheless, the signs are there. It's not said earthquakes, godless places, famines, pestilences, okay? Looking at these diseases, zoonotic shit that they've been talking about in recent years. All this stuff's coming up. COVID resurgence.
That is the pestilence. You said so-called diseases. The reason why I say so-called because a lot of these were created in the lab somewhere, or a lot of them are just fabricated, made up, or over-exaggerated, But he comes with the problem, and then the reaction of the people, and then the solution, which is what? The jab, right? Which, we know that there was a congressional meeting or whatever with, what's his name, Fauci. He was sitting before, council or whatever, and they was giving him immunity, but the man still, after, the council asked him, several questions, he kept pleading the fifth, using the Fifth Amendment, pleading the Fifth, So yeah, that's why we say never trust your enemy, man. They coming with a solution, but we see the results of that solution, which is death. Kids becoming autistic. Kids becoming, ADHD and autistic, nonverbal, right? That's the so-called white man's law. Destroy, the fruit from our, how the scriptures call it, the fruit from our bowels, if you will. I'm saying it right? All right. But that was it. I got you. So this is 2nd Ezra 9:1. He answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before. We got to break this down. 2nd Ezra 9:1. It says, he answered me then and said, measure thou the time diligently in itself.
How we're able to measure the time diligently in itself is looking at everything going on and linking into biblical prophecy. This is our measurement tool. This is how we know where we're at. As far as prophecy moving and things playing out in the earth, leading up to Yahweh's coming, the destruction of this place, America, deliverance of the elect. This is how we know that this is the end. Hanging on the last few major prophecies, man, that's it. It's war. It's gonna, keep on amping up until it goes nuclear. All right. It's gonna be knees deep in Jacob's trouble. Things are gonna be chaotic. This society, all the parts of the earth, these devils gotta mandate that shit.
That's part of the measurement. What's the tool we use in the measurement? It's the time.
The scriptures.
There you go. The Bible is. The Bible is the tool that we use to measure the times. Okay? And then, the way we do it is we see what's going on in the world, and we see what prophecy does it match up with. Right? Case in point. right? When you see all these UFO sightings, right? Or if you see like a blood moon or a solar eclipse, well, that falls into the prophecy of there shall be signs in heaven and in the earth.
Yeah.
You know, so that's just an example that we at the end. It says, and when thou seest parts of the sign pass, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made.
Yes. Things that we see, we understand that the Lord is making himself known through his judgments, making these things come to pass. You know, the Lord is again the Inquisition. You know, he's getting ready to make things happen, man. He's getting ready to send his only begotten son back. You know, Lord Yahweh Shai, he's not coming to make peace. You know, he's coming to set the sword.
That's right. It says, therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world.
Earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world. And you can just hop on Google and see, you know, recent earthquakes. You'll see about the dozens, man. We was just talking about, we said it was Colombia that just got hit. Indonesia, when you had that magnitude 7, I think it was 7.7, magnitude earthquake that just hit. They said it wasn't the only one. You know, it was repeated earthquakes hitting that place. You know, just recently off the coast of Oregon, I believe. You know, we had repeated earthquakes there. So it's left and right. You know, pretty much look. They're so frequent. Uproars of people in the world, which you had, you know, and more so now because people are waking up to, you know, the dirt that this man Esau is doing throughout the earth. How he has his hands in and everything. You know, people are in uproar, they're mourning because of this man in power. You know?
They're being backed into a corner. You know, when you have a society where you can't fucking pay bills, you know, the cost of living is, you know, through the roof, skyrocketing, food is skyrocketing, you know, but at the same time, there's not a lot of jobs booming like that. It just goes to show you, like you said, people are gonna start seeking answers to why these things are happening. You know, because once you take away a person's comfortability, that's when they begin to wonder why these things are happening. And then they, you know, with the internet, which is a tool being used to expose the so-called white man. Real quick, let's see. I'll read this. This is Isaiah 47:1. It said, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon."
Yeah, the virgin daughter of Babylon is still in America. Because this place, it keeps the customs of ancient Babylon. Alright? The land of the Chaldeans back then, you know, was, you know, the hierarchy was, you know, King Nebuchadnezzar, man, but he had, you know, wealthy individuals that dealt with witchcraft. You know, the Chaldees. This place, America, you know, it keeps customs of ancient Babylon. Case in point, I forget the name of it, man. It's out there in Hollywood. At one point in time, you know, there's a certain shopping center right there by Sunset Boulevard. It was built up with ancient Babylonian gods. It had ancient Babylonian gods in the wall. They tore it down, restructured it. How do you have shit like that?
That's why America's called the mother of harlots.
Right.
Because, you know, and that's why it's called Babylon.
Yeah.
Because the word Babylon goes back to the Hebrew word above, which means the entrance. So they, you know, all the gods first of all the nations dwelling here in this big melting pot. You know, that's why the scripture say in Revelation 17 about the whore that you know, sitteth upon great waters, roughly paraphrasing, I'm not saying it verbatim, but you know, all these different nations dwelling here, you know what I'm saying? And they all bring their idols here. We'll read on. It says, and when it says sit in the dust, you know that dust represents confusion. All right, because the so-called white man, he's going to go back to that, you know, Most High is going to plague his mind. He's going to go back to that, you know, when he was, like, during the time of the Middle Ages, when it was, you know, he was called the beast man. You know, when he was in slavery under Jake, during the Dark Ages, man. Okay?
Yeah, he was driven out, you know, from Jake. You know, they understood that this thing wasn't right. You know? They pushed him out. You know? That's why you know, the Georgia mountain region, the Caucasus mountain region, is built up in caves. That was his habitation. Fast forward to now, you wonder why, you know, most government buildings are fashioned after ancient Rome. You know, they call it neoclassical architecture. Another name for it is neo-Georgian architecture. You know, this is the so-called white man. Yep. He saw Edom.
You look at Mount Seir over there, it's the same structure.
Yeah.
It shows the same people ruling. But you damn niggas, you stupid ass niggas that think you know, that think you in the truth, but you're not in the truth. You claim that the so-called white man is not Esau, man. You don't know what the hell you're talking about, man. Because if you deal with, you know, prophetically speaking, historically speaking, you know, through process of elimination, it has to be the so-called white man. It can be no other nation.
It's nobody else fits, you know, prophecies concerning Edom pretty much to, you know, the T. That's him. You know? He can't hide himself. He knows that. That's why he doesn't care to put shit in your face. But you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, you're not looking at that and putting shit together, man. You know? Ultimately, because you've been blinded by it. You know? Lord, first and foremost, he saw the deceit.
Right. Who's I reading again? I was reading Isaiah 47. So it says, read it again. Come down, sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans. For thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Yeah. There is no throne, daughter of the Chaldeans, with America. Thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate. You know? Elsewhere in Isaiah, it talks about, you know, how pretty much America had been on a high pedestal, you know, lofty place, you know, built up, luxury, decked out, you know, these nations, at one point in time, they reverenced this place, you know, they were inspired by it, to the point they started taking on, you know, their customs, their ideologies, you know, building their cities up, so, you know, high-rises, skyscrapers, yes, you know, like bringing their fast food chains to their countries, Americanizing.
Take the millstones and grind mill. Uncover thy locks. Make bare the leg. Uncover the thigh. Pass over the rivers.
That's all, you know, pretty much symbolic of exposure. You know, the so-called white man, Esau of Edom, and all his wickedness is being laid out. It's being exposed. You know, all the, you know, the atrocities, things that he did to the Lord's people here in the Americas. You know, finding, you know, burial grounds beneath all this shit. It's built right over it. You know? whole world is waking up to the dirt this man. You know? How he intruded other nations and set up puppet ass leaders. You know? Setting up good ties. Having the CIA go up and stabilize their economies, stabilize the country. Set up leaders that serve their interests. You know? They're tired of it.
Right, I got research. This is Luke chapter 8, verse 17. It says, for there is nothing secret, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest. Neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad.
Nothing hid that shall not be made manifest. Why is that? Because the Lord looks down on everything. You know? The Lord is doing the exposure through his men. His mouthpiece, man. Luke 1 and 7. As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which have been since the world began. You know? They're at the forefront of the exposure. You know? You got these other individuals that see the men of Great Millstone. They got their podcast, they're pulling the whistle on shit, coming on social media. You know? It's all of the Lord.
Hold on.
And the Lord is getting ready to remove Esau out of power. You know? That's why he has gotten up to this point. You know? He's only able to continue a short space. Up until the Lord will show his power in removing this guy out of power. You know? It's going to be a violent overthrow.
Right, I gotta say this is Isaiah 29, starting at verse 14. It says, matter of fact, I started at verse 14. It says, therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among this people, which we know that this was talking about Israel. Isaiah prophesied that, you know, the southern kingdom would be going in captivity, you know, under the Babylonians. But, you know, I continue on. It says, therefore, behold, I will proceed to do a marvelous work among his people, even a marvelous work and a wonder. For the wisdom of their wise men shall perish, and the understanding of their prudent men shall be hid.
That's why Esau is pretty much getting sloppy with his antics, man. He's all over the place. You know? It's just, there's no more wisdom in Tina. The scriptures say, you know, his counsel was shot. You know, he's at his wit's end, pretty much. You know, nothing is gonna work, man. None of his, like it tells you elsewhere, you know, his monthly prognosticators, you know, stargazers, you know, his enchantments that he put on the people, his witchcraft, sorcery, none of that shit is gonna avail him. His destruction, his judgment. The beats are gonna go on the chains.
Right. So let me read that again. I'll read on. It says, woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. Shalom. It says, woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord. It says, and their works are in the dark, and they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us?
Woe to them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, that works in the dark. That's pretty much the mind of these elites. You know, thinking that they can do what they're doing now, you know, as far as pushing their agendas forward. You know, they're pushing for technocracy, visual panoply, prison. You know, they think that the Lord isn't looking down on them, he's seeing everything, man. Not to mention all the pedophile rings and shit like that. You know, human trafficking that goes on. You know, you got all this shit underground, and you know they got it set up in other countries. You know, they're harvesting adrenochrome off of them. They're taking you Israelites, man. They're putting you on cargo ships somewhere, shipping you somewhere. Get eaten, get brutalized, raped. You're not getting away with shit.
That's the dark reality of what goes on in the world.
Yeah.
And like you said, you know, they seek deep to hide that secret culture.
Yeah.
You know, the Bohemian groves, you know, those, you know, solar satanic Sabbaths, you know, where they do high level, you know, rituals and stuff like that. You know, and you know, Esau is lifted up with that pride. You know, they got that pride because they haven't been judged. You know, and they, like the scripture say, their heart is fully set in them to do evil. You know, and you know, right now they living it up, man. That's why the scripture say, rejoice and be glad, man, because all of this wickedness that you've done against the Lord and His people, you know, it's gonna come a time where, you know, you're gonna have to be judged for all of those things that you've done on this earth. You know what I'm saying?
Like long track record. Dudes that sold out. Leadership of these other camps is sold out. You're in league with this man. You're a fucking fool, man. Getting ready to lose that point. Esau's gonna turn on your ass. The Lord is gonna deal with you.
And the so-called white man is getting worse because the scripture say evil men and seducers shall wax worse.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, like sorry to cut in, like Nate, like IUIC, which is Nate, Higher Secret Cage on Johanna, Bubble Eye Blackfish, calls himself Tom. You know what I'm saying? So these evil men wax worse and worse and it's seduce them. You know? And that's all they doing right now. You know why? Because they took the bag. You know? You know what I'm saying? Like the scripture say. They say they are blessed because they are rich. You know what I'm saying? You know? Because they took the bag, man. You know? Or they got a whole lot of followers. Right, a whole bunch of followers. Right. You know, so they feel that, you know, that, oh, hey, look, hey, man, Most High's blessing me. Huh? Flunkies. Yeah, yeah, flunkies. Yeah, they got a bunch of zombies, man. You know? So evil men shall wax worse and worse. And they came from the same school that we come from. You know? Because I was taught by the apostles. These brothers were taught by the apostles. So we come from the same school of thought. You know? Yet they're going to sit there and yeah, you get to Fritos so fucking place up. You know? Pork crackling skin someplace else. Wait till this boy they think this is Sasua and Dominican Republic. Well, when you get the Dominican homes for shit, you know? Especially in this area right here, there's a lot of tribes, Simeon, Dominicans around here. You know? Right, because they got to put the safe on.
Got the windows down, got a big ass.
Yeah, big ass, yeah. And it was so funny to listen to their music and blast it. but they don't even know who they are as a people, man. They're walking around calling themselves, I'm a Dominican, you know? Which, like the Apostle John said, in Dominican Republic, especially in the North region, it's a bunch of so-called Negroes, man. You know? But they walking around thinking that they a bunch of fucking Dominicans, and then when you call them black people, they don't want to hear it because they into that colorism that the Spaniards put upon them, man. Another group of so-called white people that conquered the Northern Kingdom, which is so-called Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, all right, and Dominicans, all the Northern Kingdom, man. Cubans. The name of the game is keep the race pure. I don't know how you say it in Spanish, but keep the race pure. In other words, the more lighter skin you are, the more they want to get lighter skin, and they think they're superior to the dark skin indigenous people of that land. Go ahead, bro.
That's what the add-on.
Yeah.
Because see, one of the underlying issues is that by them not associating themselves with being black, they think that that's going to help them in the long term. Because if they was associated with being black, they would have to get the same treatment as the blacks.
Right. But they get the same treatment now.
Exactly.
By the so-called white man. They get the same treatment now by the so-called white man because now they being what do you call it? ICE. They're being deported, but really, yeah. Well, you're gonna see that during the summertime, man. You're gonna have the black women showing out. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, they will seduce men, and that's what they're doing. Because they bring out this false doctrine, and they seduce men, man. And they're going to increase in it more and more and more wickedness. All right? And that's talking about you Jews that know you're Israelites, man. But yet, you pervert the gospel because you took a fucking bag, man. All right, so what? You probably got a scripture.
Well, I was reading
Yeah, go ahead.
Psalm 64.
Read it again.
Okay. It says, hear my voice, O power, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy.
Yeah, from fear of the enemy. Now, the enemy can be your own people, too. And your enemy is the so-called white man in the other heathen nations. Because remember, you had a lot of other Israelites that wanted to kill David, man. Look at King Saul. King Saul sought out to kill King David, man. Even his own son, Absalom, man, went against David, man. So David was making these songs. That's what psalms are, the songs, to preserve my life from the enemy. Because he was going through a lot of stress and hell, man. People trying to fucking kill him, man. People trying to murder him. Right? And that's what we pray to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai now, to preserve our life from the enemy. Against wicked ass 2/3 so-called Negroes, West Indian, Haitians, Hispanics, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, and the so-called white man and all the other heathen nations, man. Okay? So we're praying for that, man. All right?
It says, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked.
Yeah, hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked. Now, you had other Israelites that had counsel against David, but it's talking about the so-called fucking white man. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, man. That's why the scriptures tell you that what is that? It says, warn to them that seek deep to hide a counsel from Yahweh from the Lord. You brother get that? Because that goes right with that.
You read that too.
Oh, you read that already?
I can do it again.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I
No?
actually got it right.
Hunt.
Isaiah 28:15.
Hunt.
It says, "Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh."
Yeah, which is the Vilta Kashivas, man. You know, the small hats, the real estate agents. You know, whatever you want to call them. You know what I'm saying? And they seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh because they're in secret doing all this. You know, like they got the RFID chip, which is a mark that they're ready to make mandatory, man. Now you have some so-called Americans that know that, but the majority of Americans, man, especially so-called Negroes, West Indian Asians, Latino, Native Americans, they don't know shit. They don't know Bo Diddley, man. They don't know a motherfucking thing. They just going around on social media and all the Joneses on social fucking media, and that's it, man. But you got some so-called white people, they know about the RFID chip. And even you got some so-called black people that know about the RFID chip. But on a mass scale, they don't know about that, man. Okay? Because they're doing everything in secret, man. They don't come out and tell you straight up what they're gonna do to you, man. They hide it. Just like the whole dollar bill thing, man. You know, they're about to do away with the dollar bill, the petrodollar. Okay? They're about to do away with it and bring a cashless society. And after the cashless society, they're gonna bring in the RFID chip, man. Which is the mark of the beast, mentioned in the book of Revelations, 13th chapter, the 16th verse, man.
It's like China. China got a whole digital-based.
Yeah, they got a whole digital-based economy. Yeah.
The digital IDs,
Yup.
social
Yup.
credit system,
Yup.
and all of that stuff.
Look, man, China's already on board. I think, what is it? One of the countries, Norway or Sweden, or Denmark, everything, you can't even spend no cash. Everything is all digital, man. But you think niggas and Mexicans and Dominicans and West Indian and Haitians and all that shit, man? They don't know shit, man. That's why the scriptures say, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, man. Okay? Hosea 4 and 6. Okay? They don't know nothing but what Esau pumps out to them. And forget about the black woman. She don't know shit either, man. All she's concerned about is wearing a purple, blue, orange, green, fucking bust down, lace front. That's all the fuck she knows, man. Wears spandex with a camel toe showing with a split in the fucking summertime. That's all she knows, man. You know?
That's right.
But warn to them and seek deep to hide their counsel from Yahweh, because the wicked elite, the international banking families, they keep this shit secret, man. They don't come out and tell people, man. Because they don't want people to wake up, especially these so-called they don't want you waking up. They want to keep you right where you are. The dumbest fucking nation on the planet fucking Earth, man. Okay? You got so-called white people, they do some research, man. Niggas don't do shit. Okay? Latinos, Native Americans don't do shit. They don't do no study, they don't do no nothing, man. Go ahead, bro. Nah, go ahead, brother. Interrupt me every time.
But yeah, just because what you just said made me think about the newer generation. How, you know, they got all
Gen
this,
Z?
Yeah, Gen Z, Gen Alpha.
Yeah, Gen
they
Alpha.
got all this new technology, and you know they're not even using it the right way, because all they do is their social skills is terrible. That's number one. And number two, all they want to do is sit in the house and be on the phone all day. They don't want to go outside. They don't want to do shit.
Social media.
That's it.
That's all. It's just social media is their whole fucking life. Look ahead, brother. Read the scripture.
Right. So let me read that again.
Yeah.
Isaiah 29, verse 15. It says, "Woe unto them that seek deep to hide the counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark, and they say, Who seeth us, and who knoweth us?"
Yeah. From when they set this up, man, when they first set up the Illuminati, when they first set the system up, man. Nobody was hip to that, you know? It was amongst the elites, man, the elite international paper family. It was amongst them, you know, Albert Pike, you know, and other people, man, you know? And they choose their presidents, man. I don't give, you can't vote nobody fucking in. They choose who they want to be the president. All right? Because it's a secret society. And they all a bunch of goddamn moles, man. A bunch of LGBT community people, man. Every last one of them.
Freaks.
Freaks, man. You know? You got a scripture?
There's a little more.
Oh, a little more? Go ahead, brother.
Just one more verse. It says, "Surely you're turning of things upside down."
Surely you're turning of things upside down, because everything is turned upside down here in America. Okay? Everything is turned upside down. How is everything turned upside down? You got women over men. You got women bosses, women judges. You know? You know? You got men paying child support for some iron-ass fucking woman, man. They got the Lord as the so-called fucking white man instead of the so-called black man. All right? All right? So everything, surely you're turning things upside down. You know, they're against nature. All right? So-called the gefilte fish eaters, they hate nature itself, man. They put all this concrete and shit on it. You know? That's turning everything upside down, man. You know? They poison the air, they poison the water. They make GMO foods. That's turning everything upside down. Okay? They legalize drugs, man. And I'm not even talking about the weed, which weed is a fucking drug too. You ain't supposed to be fucking smoking that shit, man. Alright? But they got Xanax and all this other bullshit, man. Opioids. Which all it does is get you hooked on this shit. Alright? That's all it do is get you hooked onto the shit. So basically all of opioids are just synthetic heroin, man. And they get you hooked instead of using the herbs. Alright? They destroy the herbs, man. Alright? They got food that don't got no vitamins in it, man. And I'm talking about vegetables, fruits, meats that's supposed to give your body vitamins so you can live. They take that out the way, man. They're fucking witchcraft. Turning everything upside down, man. Okay? So surely you're turning things upside down. They calling themselves the Lord's chosen people, man. Okay? When it's the so-called black man that's the real Jew, and a black woman that's the so-called real Jew, man. Okay? They calling themselves the Israelites, which is all the rest of the other tribes. So surely your things are turning upside down. Go ahead.
Right, surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
Shall be esteemed as a potter's clay, man. In other words, it's going to be destroyed, man. Because when it's being destroyed now, your brother, get that? It says pulling down the strongholds. So right now, through the prophets of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh being out here, we're the heralds of Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, man. All right? Breaking down the strongholds, man. All right? getting, breaking through the lies of what the gefilte fish even set up, man. All right? We're breaking down the lies through the spirit, through the scriptures, man, through the prophecies. But the main turning of things upside down is going to be as a potter's clay is when Yahweh sends his son, Yahweh Shai, to come to destroy this fucking place, man. Destroy fucking America, man. With fire. According to the word of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, man. And there's nothing the so-called white man can do about it. There's nothing the small hats, the real estate agents, the gefilte fish eaters, there's nothing they can do to stop that. Okay? There's nothing the nigger woman can do to stop that, man. She on fucking YouTube talking about, oh yeah, because he had all these other women, but that's why he went bad. Well, guess what? Isaiah 4:1 is gonna come into play. And you're gonna love it, man. You're gonna love your man having more than a woman. Because your ass gonna be surviving, man. Okay? Because a man, an Israelite man, has a right to have more than one fucking woman, man. According to the Bible. We don't give a shit what the fucking black woman got to say about it, man. This is the word of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Go ahead.
It says,
yeah, and that's another thing too. Oh, if you marry more than one woman, oh yeah, we're gonna lock you. We're gonna lock you up if you married to more than one. Man, get the fuck out of here. That's the so-called fucking white man. His bullshit. You know why? Because it's all about eugenics, man. He don't want people to thrive on the earth. He don't want more kids and babies being born on the earth, man. When you got multiple women, you have a lot of kids, man. You have a lot of sons and daughters, man. But the so-called white man got his Georgia Guidestones. He wants to bring humanity down to 500 million, man. He wants to destroy 6.5 or 7 billion people on the planet Earth. All right? The so-called white man is a fucking madman, man. Okay? Go ahead, bro.
it says, for shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed of him that framed it, he had no understanding?
Yeah, like, who the fuck is you, so-called white man? You know? Sit up there, God, niggas, who the fuck is you, man? He made your fucking wicked ass. He made you a vessel of destruction. And he made the 12 tribes, so-called Negroes, West Indians, Haitians, Hispanics, Native Americans, Seminole Indians, to be his vessel of beauty, man. And the scriptures even go into that. Okay? You got a vessel for destruction, man. And that's the so-called fucking white man.
That also reminds me of these Transformers, you know.
Oh yeah, that's turning things upside down to the Transformers.
You know, these dudes, these females, these men that get the plastic surgery.
Yeah. They get their franks and beans cut off, man. You know? Yeah, these Transformers out here, man. Now, when you walk up to a woman and you try to holler at her, you trying to figure out whether this is a fucking female or a fucking man. You know? You trying to, okay, damn, is this a dude? You know? Go ahead, bro. Yeah, breaking the stronghold down. Yeah, breaking down the stronghold.
2 Corinthians 10:4, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but
Yeah,
mighty.
for the weapons of our warfare, not carnal. So we're not out here with guns, you know, talking about we're going to have a revolutionary war against the so-called white man, but our little fucking 38s, AK-47s, or whatever you got. You're not going to outscore the sword man, which is the so-called white man. He got all the weapons and bullets on the planet Earth, man. So we're not out here on the carnal level, we're out here on the spiritual level. Spiritual, we're not out the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, man. Okay? We're not out here to make physical war with the sword with the so-called white man. When I say the sword, I'm talking about the sword right now, and these times, it's the gun. You know? Go ahead, bring
Real
it up.
quick, you said that. This is Song of Solomon 2 verse 7. I charge you, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, by the roads and by the hinds of the field, that you stir not up, nor awake my love till he please.
Break it down.
So we got scripture say, wait ye upon me to the day that I rise up to the prey. Okay, so you know you can't don't stir up or awake the Lord. All right, force his hand like Judas Iscariot tried to do with the Lord.
Yeah, that's like the greatest example, man. You know, and you had many groups amongst so-called Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Spanish, Latino, Native Americans, some Indians, that try to get up arms to fight against the so-called white people. You know, that's why the scriptures tell you what, Romans, 13th chapter, first chapter, it says obey the powers that be.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because that the Most High set up the powers that be. If you go against that, you're going against the Hawa Bahashem, the Hawa Shah. That's why I don't get smell. You know? Even back in Israel, man. You know what I'm saying? You know? You had dudes raised up against the Roman Empire. Hey, Shalom, elder. Shalom, elder. Shalom. You had groups even back then. You know? That rose up against the white man. You know what I'm saying? Back in Judea, man. And they all came not. Because Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua set them up. So who are we to go pick up guns and then go against the so-called white man when Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua set the white man to be in rulership now, man? Okay? Wait, like the brother read the scripture, man. Don't stir Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua up, man. Don't force his hand, man. Because why? It's going to go to a fall, man. That's why we out here, we just teaching the words of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua, pulling down of strongholds through Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua's words, man, through his prophecies, through his scriptures. Right?
It says, but mighty through the Most High to the pulling down stronghold.
The mighty to the Most High, Yahweh, the pulling down of strongholds. That's what we're doing. We got the picture to say, listen, this is not the Lord, man. This so-called white man, that so-called Negroes, Hispanics, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, Native Americans, some Indians are praising. That's not the Lord. Here's the scriptures to prove it. That's a pulling down of a strong. Because that Caesar Borgias, that white image of so-called Jesus Christ, that's a stronghold amongst our people. You know? That's a mighty stronghold, man. But we're pulling down those strongholds and bringing out the word of the Lord. Now, whether you accept it or not, that's on you, man. You know? That means Yahweh Bahashim Yahushua blinded you. Okay? He don't want you to get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Isaiah 6 and 9. So he blinded you to this, man. Okay? He wants you to keep on believing that the Lord is a so-called white man. Okay? Alright? So when that time comes, he can destroy you. So he can destroy you.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5 and verse 2.
Right.
Well, I start verse 1. But of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night.
Yeah. Yeah, brother, break it down. They doing that shit on purpose, man.
Right.
Read it again, I can break it down.
It says, for yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Right, so, you know, the Lord don't want you to know that the so-called white man, you know, is the devil, or, you know, that he's not the Messiah. All right, because, you know, this scripture backs that statement up, because the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief in the night to the majority of his people.
Right, yeah.
Because they're not going to be expecting, you know, these things to come to pass, which is the prophecies.
Right. Especially Negroes, Asians, two-thirds of you, you're not going to know. You know, Dominicans, they ain't going to know. Now, the brothers and a few sisters of the tribe of Simeon, which are the Dominicans that come into the truth, they're going to know. But the majority of you so-called Dominicans around here, you ain't trying to hear this truth, man. You know? You eating your pork. You know, you listening to your fucking music. Yeah, adultery, you talking shit about so-called black people. That's your whole fucking world, man. All right? You so-called West Indians. You a bumper-clad Jamaican. All right, well, good. Be a bumper-clad Jamaican. You Haitians. You the same. Listen, all the tribes, man. You Native Americans, man. All Native Americans is cared about is dancing in a fucking powwow with their beads on and their feathers on. That's all they know. That's all they give a shit about. They don't want to know nothing else, man. You know? So-called Mexicans, the same fucking thing, man. You know? You know, you want to be close to the so-called fucking white man. And you so-called Negroes, man, you should know fucking better than this shit. You know? You the head tribe, man. But you still caught up on, oh, God is all love, man. He loves all people and all this other bullshit, man. You're supposed to know. You're supposed to know that the Lord is so-called black. Hey, Shalom. You know what I'm saying? That's all you concerned about. You so-called Puerto Ricans, man. All you concerned about is a fucking Puerto Rican Day parade, man. You don't care about nothing else. But you got the elect from all the 12 tribes. It's going to get this way. Yeah, see that? See? You see? The Hawa Bahashim al-Shah shows an example, man. And you got the LGBT community. Here it is. You got the white woman wearing a goddamn dress and you folks wearing spandex with your camel toes on, man. You know? That's all you're concerned about. That's why you're going to be destroyed by Yahweh Bahashim al-Shah. Only the elect men and women are going to be delivered. Yeah, bro.
Right. So it says, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape.
Bad, brother, break it down.
Right. So, you know, when they're gonna say peace and safety, that's when the sudden destruction is gonna come. When they think that, you know, they're in a good case, when they think that, you know, that they're gonna be in a decent situation, but then that's when the Lord is gonna bring that wrath.
Yeah, especially with you nations. You know, you nations sign on these fake ass peace treaties, and you all hate fucking each other. You know? Oh yeah, the war is over. That's it. War is over. We sign peace treaties. So all you heathen nations, you sign on these peace treaties, you sign on these ceasefires, and you know, you think you're gonna get it over, you're gonna slick the other nations, and you lie to the American people. Guess what? You say peace and safety, and sudden destruction coming upon you. Because World War III, man, we already in World War III. Okay? So you can sit up there and say, okay, I'm gonna sign this piece of paper. I'm gonna sign this piece of paper. We're gonna be at peace. No, what you're gonna do is just fucking go against each other, man. That's all that's gonna happen.
How many times Donald Trump said that Iran wanted to make a deal?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
He played let's make a deal.
yeah. He's like, let's make a deal. Yeah,
And then Iran's not making no deal at all.
exactly.
He swears they do though.
That's part of the picture.
Yeah, 'cause yeah.
He's pitching something.
And that's what he's pitching to the people. So the people think, oh, we good now. Oh, there's gas is gonna go down.
Yeah.
Oh, prices of food is gonna go down because the Orange Ranger said so. Which is Donald Trump. So when they say peace and safety, there comes sudden destruction. World War III gonna be full effect, and then the nuclear missiles gonna come over here and fucking destroy America. Sudden destruction. Very bad.
Donald Trump, they really want to wave the white flag, but that pride they got is going to keep them going. To give an example, right? You got these troops. I believe it was Navy soldiers. They wanted to jump ship and commit suicide.
And the Navy sailors, they wanted to jump ship because they were getting treated like shit. They said that they sent somebody from the Pentagon to talk to them, give them a pep rally.
Right.
This is how they do it. When you're about to go to war, they give you steak and lobster.
Yeah, that's what they do.
To what? To boost up your morale.
Right.
But what's been happening, instead of steak and lobster, you're getting shit and shit.
Yeah, they lump people open.
Lumpy opener,
Some fried biscuits. Yeah.
Toiletries fucked up.
Yeah.
The showers are fucked up. The morale is down. And top of all this, nobody's knowing why they're doing what they're doing. And top of all this, it was 6 months. They doing beyond 6 months. They already did 9 months.
Yeah.
Of
They're
this
supposed to, right. That.
So they're not getting no relief.
Right.
That's a stressful environment. So, like I was talking to the brother, they might sacrifice that carrier, those people, to the thing. Because,
To the Iranians.
yeah, so that way, they're going to boost up the morale. That's all it is. But nobody knows why you're fighting for it. 9/11, everybody knew, even though
It was all bullshit.
But they had a, they were like, okay,
Yeah.
we're fighting because of this. This is there's no reason for Israel, So they try to commit suicide. They're trying to damn this get out of that situation. And all that does is spread like a virus. And everybody else is seeing. They're gonna try to find a get out of there. Oh, women are gonna get pregnant. That's always an outing. So whatever bitch is in the carrier, they're gonna try to get pregnant so they can go back to the shore and never go back out there again.
But they're going back out.
You don't know? Because they need people.
Yeah. Because Americans ain't down with this fucking war.
Why? Why should they? And look,
Yeah, they're going to subways right now, because they're about to close.
but top of all this though, unlike back in the days, there's social media, and everybody has it. So if you come and you going out to war to fight for this country, you're looking at back home, wait a minute, ISIS picking people up. Oh, women are getting like, they're gonna divorce your ass and get all your shit. There's no incentive to fight for this country anymore, because everything is there. So the military has to combat intelligence, and they combat the fact of the soldiers are smarting up. That's why they're gonna get in trap, because there are a lot of idiots out here. They're just gonna have to force their ass over there.
Yeah, but that's what the draft is coming back. They said men 50 years old gotta go. That shit is fucking insane, man.
Come on, what are the numbers that they run?
But these so-called white people, if you go on YouTube, they're crashing out, man. They're banging on the car, they roof, they're crying, because they can't even pay their rent. They gotta choose between groceries, or rent. You know? They say they're working all these hours, they're not getting paid nothing. So you got regular so-called white people fucking crashing out, man.
Right.
And then now you want to send them off to war? Hell no, they want to go to no fucking war, man. They want everything to go back to what it was, but it's never going to go back to us. Because America is about to be destroyed, man. By Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, and Yahweh Shai coming back to bring more fire in this place and deliver his chosen people.
A lot of weeping.
Yeah, a lot of women. There shall be in national team, man.
No escapability. No drugs.
So you can't escape. Because even the drugs is too fucking expensive.
The escape route is expensive.
You know what I'm saying? Even the drugs is expensive. Unless you go and smoke. Unless you go and smoke some fucking crack or something like that. And that's still expensive, man. Shit, man, niggas is capitalizing off of that shit, man. They're like, shit, yeah, white boy, yeah, come and get these drugs, man. They're gonna make a whole lot of fucking money till they get caught and locked up. You know? So when they say peace and safety, it's self-destruction coming from under, man. Because you got all these nations signing peace treaties, but they all want to serve each other, man. And that's what they're going to do. Third World War. We already in the Third World War, man.
There's the book of Jeremiah 51 and verse 6. Flee out of the midst of Babylon and deliver every man his soul. Be not cut off in her iniquity, for this is the time of the Lord's vengeance. He will render unto her a recompense.
Payback. And it's long overdue. America's been long overdue of what they have done unto us. This is old. Yeah, this is a take it out the dust out of under the carpet and shit. You gotta dig it up. You know? That's why shit keep coming out. They used to eat the slaves. They used to take the slaves, skin
They
it.
used to eat them. They used to actually cannibalize it. And then take the skin and make shoes and shit out of it.
Yeah. You should take the black woman's hair and make this and that. All that shit's coming up. Why? This is all beef that we got to resolve. So the Lord's bringing it back. And that's why these crackers are they crying because they don't know. First of all, they want things to go back where everybody was ignorant to the fact, but the truth is out there. Everything's on Jump Street. This is what you did, right? They have so much guilt. They got so much guilt in their life. They need somebody to tell them. That's why they had to charge the perks and everything like that. Johnny, don't worry. Everything's gonna be all right. You got Trump in office and taking out all the F-certs of what they did into slavery. Why they're trying to mask that shit. They're trying to go back to where it was hidden. We could hide out evilness, but now the Lord's like, nope, put it on Jump Street. This is what you did, right? This is what you did to the boss chosen people. So you don't have to pay for that shit. It is not a cheap price. It's the ultimate price. The shit that you feared the most. That's what you have to give, right? Go ahead.
It says here, Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad.
And when they did drunken off of Babylon's philosophy, it tasted good to everybody's mouth, to the dregs of it came about. And all the actions that's going around the world proves that this shit's not working. See, democracy is a joke. Democracy is the most weakest shit that you could possibly think of. That's why they want everybody to have democracy, because that's their way getting in. How you go to a democratic nation and they vote for a leader and you overthrow them like that? All right. See, monarchy, no matter how bad dictatorship, how bad it is, that's just ironclad tight. And what they do, they make the person that isn't a dictator to be a monster. And those that do democracy, they're the champions of the people. But in reality, they're the suckers of the people. Because this is how America infiltrates their country. Now they have easy access to their country because they already know the ballot system. They already know how it is because this is what they're supposed to, this is what they do up there. And presidents are not elected, they're selected. They're selected by who? Not the people, they're selected by the higher ups. This is why you have Colombia now became the next domino effect of the imperialism of America. Right? Venezuela after the earthquake, Argentina Benovich, but now Colombia accepts Israel because Colombia is infiltrated now. Because the guy that got elected, the first thing that he did was call up Israel and recognize Israel as a state, which shows you the political game. So all that shit is just infiltrated. But the Lord uses that to make the world drunk. That's why the nations are pissed off. Like, wait a minute, this wasn't part of the deal. Go ahead.
Democracy is more so an illusion.
Yes, it is.
It makes people think, oh, you know, if you get this person in here, they ain't going to change certain things. But no, that's what you said. They're not selecting, they're electing.
Think about it. Think about it. If somebody does something one time and decide to implement yourself, don't they know your system? Like, common sense, right? Exactly. So if you do the American way of voting and of course the Americans know exactly how it's done. Because they do it anyway. Alright? So this whole shit is the shenanigans is just that. It's just the shenanigans. Alright? And that's how the world got drunken off of the line of America, you know. They're completely drunk and they're pissed off. They're pissed off because nothing's working. Part of that democracy is feminism. You know?
Yeah.
You got places that don't have no fucking no divorce rates. All of a sudden got problems at home. Alright? You got problems abroad and you got problems at home. That's hell. Fuck that. Let the Americans have it. That's why nobody wants American way anywhere, bro. Okay?
It says, Babylon hath been the golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations are drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed.
We right in the whole mix of the falling of Babylon, right? And what is the number one key dynamic of Babylon falling? The American dollar, which is an American stronghold. This is what that was the strength, bro. This is how they flex on everybody, yo. It was about the strength of the dollar. Now the dollar is beyond weak. They had to get Japan and China both was the reserve money for America. And they like, nah, we can't hold this shit too much. All right, America had to go rescue Japan from the economy hit. All right, they had to rescue them out of it. But there was a clear-cut sign of Babylon falling. And when you look at the dollar today, it's not worth shit. The dollar 20 years ago is not the same dollar today. Okay? The dollar 40 years ago is not the same dollar today. They completely have shambled, man. You know, because what? The elites, well, actually, the elites are good. It's the lower elites. They try to make it look come up right now. They're on a money grab. Okay? And instead of taxing them, they want to tax the people. So all it's doing is bringing more pressure to the average person. So this place is falling, man. Right? It's falling. It's done.
If I may say, they were projecting some time around late September that you're gonna really see a shift, a financial change, right? Like it's never been seen before. This is not coming from one; it's coming from multiple.
Yeah.
So that right there lets you know that something major.
No, think about all the other things that was done before that was held back. Just like if you put a balloon under the water, it still has to come up. No matter how much pressure you put in. So when everything happens, it's gonna happen like a crash. You know? Because it's like,
These niggas and the hoes ain't ready.
they're not, no, they're not. Because niggas, they're built upon what it is at the moment. You know what I'm saying? You see, they got Instagram video I've seen of little children, you know, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, about to go to school. Kids got like dollars, like money like this, showing out, this and that. That's all they're concerned about. These are little children. They don't do nothing. See, but all that shows the ignorance of our people. They're not ready, like your brother said. They're not ready. They don't have a fucking clue. Women still trying to look for a date. You know what I'm saying? Take her out somewhere and spend like $1,000 for nothing. This is sit there and look at her dumb ass. You know?
Right.
And you might not even get to smell the pussy. Fuck that shit, man. It's not even worth it, yo. The dollar ain't worth it. They not worth it. So what the hell? What's their points of it? This shit is done, man. It's over. The points of normalcy dies right now. All right? It's dying right now. Go ahead.
It says, how for her take balm for her pain.
So they thought about strategic. So like when Trump came into office, when he said he hired Elon Musk with Deutsche. Yeah, we're gonna cut spending. Matter of fact, we're gonna cut all our debts. We're making so much money, we cut so much spending, you guys are gonna get a $5,000 refund. Then every American citizen, they said $5,000 for every American citizen, $2,000 back in your refund. They're gonna tax overtime, all this good shit, right? Cutting back all bunch of shit. Man, nothing but pure hell. Job, there ain't no jobs out here, man. The job shit gone down. People not hiring like they used to. They can't hire like they used to. Everything is done. AI taking over. All right? Your bills are sky high because AI got the data centers. And he said, don't worry about it, data centers. Like he just selling you a false hope. He's selling you a false hope, baby. He just selling you. You know? He just selling the people out. But as we all see it with our own eyes, Babylon is dying. Like the Wadi Al-Bash. Fuck this shit.
It says, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed.
Yes, brought up a cash out. All right? They done this before. They bail out the banks. Then they bail out the people. Yo, who do you owe $40 trillion in debt to? Why can't he talk? Why can't he go to that nation with your greatest army on the planet Earth and say, yo, fuck that, we ain't paying our debts? Because it's all bullshit. It's all a trap. Alright? So there's no bomb. There's no Albert Einstein type of guy. You know what I'm saying? There's no smart individual. There's no Americans just do this. They don't exist. There's no outing. Right?
On the contrary, they're speaking about how shitty things are gonna get.
Yeah.
They're not that stupid. You know, even the ones that would tell you certain things now, the whole dynamic of their channel is changing to how shitty things are getting. What did you say?
We're winning so much, we don't know what to do about winning. We're making so much money. You know, we're so rich right now. This is American great boom right now. We're winning so much. We don't know how to spend our money. You know, there's so many jobs out there that people, you just trip down the block and there's a job. You just trip down a job. You know, that's the shit that he's selling. But the reality is, there ain't no fucking jobs. There is no help at all. People are losing badly. Okay? This shit is horrible, yo. Go ahead.
I'm going to read it in NLT. Jeremiah 51 and 9 in NLT. We would have helped her if we could.
Yeah, because you got people that got their investments, they got their houses, you know. People are trying to look at, I want to rebuild my kitchen. My bathroom needs to be rebuilt. You know what, I'm thinking about getting, fixing my backyard, you know. That's all they concerned about, you know. We gotta make this place go, you know. You know what, I need to get a new house. Gotta get another car. That's all they're concerned about. That's all these fucking average milk idiots are worried about. I want something else. I want the next thing. But it's over. It's literally over. We can't afford it. Alright? Go ahead.
But nothing can save her now.
Ain't no fucking boy with it. They try Elon Musk, right? We gotta cut down on government spending. We gotta cut down on the government itself. Because why? After 9/11, they created a bigger government. Alright? TSA did not exist the way it does right now. Shit, water control. That did not exist until the way it does right now. That's how you got ice. Okay? If you want to cut back, but they want to spend $20 million for a fucking glove for ice. So when they touch you, they zap you. So what's the spending? He said he can't spend no money on daycare, but he got money he's begging for money for war. He's redoing the White House. I'm thinking about this shit fucking hilarious. He's redoing the White House. I think he would put his name on Kennedy Center. He's doing a whole bunch of shit. He's spending money all over the fucking place. But when it comes to the people, he don't give two shits about it. America's fucking nuts, huh? Because remember, FEMA, that's another thing we got. FEMA ran out of money. Long ago. So any other disaster takes place, we don't got no money. Where did the money go? But he's worried about data centers. Right? Go ahead.
It says, let her go. Abandon her. Return now to your own land, for her punishment reaches to the heavens.
I mean, that shit is way over. The tab is way over. The bill is good. Alright? You're going to have to pay for the shit that you have done. This is a dead place. This place is dead. People are leaving the cities to go to rural countries or like rural lands and shit like that, but even that shit is done. Alright? People want to get farmland, that shit is done. Everything about this shit, every step a person does is done. You want to get real estate, people still talking about real estate. I want to be a real estate agent. Who the fuck is going to buy a house?
Right.
Only BlackRock. Alright? And that's a corporation that's buying houses. Then you got Elon Musk, you're going to sell it to him? You're going to be a real estate agent? Oh, sir, if you pay this amount, I'll give you $20. You know? You're going to take it anyway. But people are stupid. They fucking retarded. They don't know what time they're in. America's finished, man. It's been finished for a long time. Now everything's building up. And it always happens during the holiday season. Yeah. This is when you're gonna start seeing things. And what did this guy say last Christmas? He said this is gonna be the last Christmas. He didn't say that.
I got something real quick.
Yeah.
He did say
I
that.
don't know
So the Lord willing, there ain't gonna even be that.
Listen, think about it. If there's a midterm, either they're gonna take it or they're gonna suspend it, which is gonna make everything very uncomfortable. He already have his own private army by the name of ICE. All right, he already put his position because when either house has it, it gets worse for everyone. All right, it gets worse. So if the blue side has it, they're gonna be impeachment. that, you know, all that dog and pony show, but it's not gonna change the average American's problem. Your problem's not gonna go away. Even if Democrats take the fucking office. Nothing's gonna change, you know? Absolutely nothing. It just gets worse.
If I may say, this just slapped me, my brother. This just means the beginning of the actual excitement to kick in.
Bro, it's always, as soon as September comes along, because it's so fucking wicked, the year don't start until September. That's when people go back to school. That's when certain TV shows, the season premiere comes about. All this weird, like this vibration of news comes around that time. So expect the fourth quarter, really is gonna be the first quarter. Expect hell. Expect fucking hell. And then December, from 18 to 26, automatic draft. That's it. Because they can't send no soldiers in this time, in this weather over there. So they gotta wait till the temperature goes down and send the troops in. You gotta, it's all strategic.
Psalms 20, verse 7. It says, some trust in chariots, some in horses, but we will remember the name of the Lord, Yahweh, by Shemel Shai.
Why? Because they trust in this goddamn system, man. They trust in the military might. They trust in everything that is fortifying the society. All right? That's how everybody, you ask the average American, do you believe America is going to win World War III? And they'll say, we have the greatest army in the world. They'll give you a plethora of lists. And most majority of these people never been in the military. They sit there and say, we got the greatest this and that. America has lost damn near every single war that it's been in. All right? And the most losses that America has lost is here in America. To lose gas. That's why they had so many goddamn police people. They was getting their ass beat. All right? So when it comes to a winning formula, America don't even have no idea what that is. All right? All they know how to do is deceive people. And most wars is deception. So if it's perceived to the world that you're winning something through deception, that's what everybody said. And everybody said it. This war right now, they've lost the war. They have lost. That's why, going back to what he said, they're begging for a deal. They want to get a deal done as much as we do. They don't want no fucking deal. Why do they want a deal for? Deal with who? Every time they sat down at a table to make an agreement with you, you reneged. All right, reneged is a form of a game called spades. When you lie about what you have in your hand. Every time you have in your hand saying that we're gonna have a conference, we're gonna come up with a decision for this thing to calm down. Every time that happens, you kill their peace treaty, you kill the deal right then and there. Why you gonna keep saying they want to make a deal? That don't make no sense. All right? And all that tough talk, we're gonna destroy it to the Stone Age and all this other shit. That ain't got them moving. All right? All that was just a show. It's part of the realms of deception. Okay? Oh, matter of fact, that's Psalm 55 and 20. Is it 20? Yeah, 20. Yeah. And that's Esau's MO. And out of all people, the Edomites, it's really the small hats. You cannot make a deal with those motherfuckers. They will always back that deal that they have with you.
That's why they were trying of the nation of people.
Yep.
There's emeralds.
Yep. They're the heads.
They're the heads of them.
Yeah.
We're the heads of people, which is emerald.
Yeah.
Which is the so-called Jew.
The worst of the worst. I mean, they're the lowest form of the pieces of shit that's out there.
Speaking of it.
Yeah, I know. You know? Any vile shit that you could think of, they're responsible for it. They're the reason why the world turned upside down. They're the reason why you crackers out there are doing bad. See, they gave you the title of the white man to make you feel good. You're like a pat in his bag. Oh, you one of us. Nah, you ain't one of us. Get the fuck out of here. That's why Esau always had a problem with the other Edomites, especially Amalekites. They always had a fucking problem. They can't stand Jacob, and they can't stand them. Why? Because they knew they got a raw deal that was done to them. That's when you go into the history. I always bring this up. Damn, right? What the fuck is this guy's name up? Look up ABL. When he started ABL. When you had this guy being the first so-called Jew being hung, they catapult the ADL to the fucking world. They use that as to make sure nobody criticized the Rothschild with the shit that they were doing. They was buying everything was for sale. Alright? What's this? Frank, what's his name?
Frank one.
No. Frank Leo Max. The guy who's, I think his father
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
The Leo Frank case that triggered the funding.
That triggered the funding. And then, because they were trying to control the narrative that they're being treated like Negroes are being treated. And it was never like that. The guy the vile person, he was raping little girls and taking their bodies and throwing them overboard. And then when they got the janitor, they had him, they questioned him and said, nah, I was helping this guy. And they believe that Jake, and they hung that motherfucker. So that's what catapulted ADL to this day. Yeah. So that's what catapulted. So they sacrificed their own players on the board so nobody can talk about them. These are the most vilest fucking people on the planet Earth, man. The most distasteful devils in the planet Earth. Everything about them is wrong. Everything about them is evil. Alright? When it came to the drugs coming in, that movie, Ecstasy came in. Holy Rollers. Holy Rollers. And it was the Orthodox, whatever you want to call this, the Hasidic Jews that were responsible for that shit. And they show you that fucking movie. Alright? And that shit blew up. See, but when they sell that to the people, they sell it as something sexy. But it wasn't sexy when people were dying from all these drugs that they created. Afghanistan was not responsible for 9/11. They just wanted the poppy seed. They wanted to control heroin. And it wasn't no normal base gangster mafia shit. It was all the rats that wear the small hats. They're all responsible for that, bro. That's why you have fentanyl. They're making a big campaign about fentanyl. Now Colombia's in their pocket right now. Right? Now we're gonna attack Colombia. And then when Pete Hegseth was talking about Colombia, the guy brought it out, like his eyes was talking wide open. Why? Because Colombia don't have cocaine. Yeah. They just had an earthquake after after Colombia accepted Israel. They got hit by an earthquake. No, this shit is going down, bro.
The machine is working heavy.
No, it's not the machine. It's the Lord that did that. Because all those earthquakes, there was an earthquake that was doing the show last night. Indonesia, 7.7. This is the Lord doing it, bro. Because what the Lord is showing, he's making war. South America is being infested by rats. All right? It's being heavily infested by them. So the Lord, the world is technically at war with Amalek right now.
John 30 and 8. They were children of fools, and children of base men. This is Job 31. But now, they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set the dogs of my flock.
So,
Job is giving us an inside scoop on the behavior of what they call at the time, what the science calls right now, the Neanderthals. There was another term that they had during the medieval times. You got it? Go ahead. You know what I mean? Just read a little bit of it.
So I looked up the wild man, also called Wogos. It says a mythical wild man of the
Wait,
woods.
first, almost, is not a myth. Because Job is going to give an account to a behavior pattern that this is before, this is after, and it's the same fucking pattern. Go ahead.
It says wild man of the woods that frequently appears in the art, literature, and heraldry of medieval Europe.
Get all that from my
Said wild man of the woods that frequently appears in the art, literature, and heraldry of medieval Europe. The name originates from Old English, where voodoo means wood and wasa means being or creature. It says directly translated to a woodland outcast.
a woodland outcast. Keep that in mind. Now read that. No, read that again, sorry.
Job 30 and 1.
Read a little bit more inside the woods. See if you anything else you
Job 30 and 1. But now they that are younger than I have
Meaning
me.
what? They that are less than I. As much as hell Job he was going through, there's still certain men that were less than him, but it had him in the vision. You know? Hey, there's a saying in the world. Oh, like in Jungle Fever. The girl came back to the father. He beat the shit out of her, right? He said he could have had a rapist, a murderer, not a nigga, right? Because a nigga in this world is considered the lowest form, right? But in reality, it's the other way around. They now are less than us, which were men of no value, men that were considered to be base men, okay? And the behavior is remarkably familiar to certain people on the planet Earth, and they ain't no Negroes.
It says, but now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose father I would have disdained to have sat with the dogs of my flock.
Why? Because there was no bestiality. There were no popping animals. All right? Who in the planet Earth, you can look up right now, getting caught, arrested for fucking horses, for fucking dogs, Edomites. That is the lowest form of a human being to have sex with an animal. In Berlin, long ago, they were doing what? They had the red light district. They had men as women and women as men. They had bestiality. Even to this day, there's certain European, decide, look it up. Bestiality in Europe. Or some form of bestiality. And it's the same pattern, it's the same fucking people. Alright? But yet, a nigga steals from the store, he's the worst shit in the world. I'd rather trust a so-called black man or black woman with my dog than a white person. Anything that I have, bro. Because their fucking pattern is always the same. It never changes. Go on.
It says, yea, whereunto might the strength of their hands profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness, in former time desolate and waste.
Desolate and waste. That means their clothes was deteriorating, their minds were deteriorated. And this is around men that can read, that can write, that can sit up right, alright? That know how to use a bathroom right, that know how to take a bathroom right. But throughout history, Let me tell you, the Moors had to come to clean up the Europeans. They didn't even have an aqueduct system. They used to take shit and throw it in the middle of the street. Everything distasteful. What changed? Look. They still discover. You found it? You found it? Go ahead.
Not an article.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
This article's from WordPress.com. The title says, "Fleeing the Crime, Bestiality in Early Modern Europe." It says, bestiality is something that today is unlikely to hear occurring. In early modern Europe, however, it seems as an act as disgusting as that took place far more regularly. People in early modern Europe lived far more intimately with animals than we do today, as farming was a far more common job and peasants lived in very rural areas. This may account for its regular occurrence, despite intercourse with an animal, or buggery, as it was often called.
Buggery. That's the word it said?
Buggery. Yeah.
Buggery. I heard that before. So that's buggery, huh? So that's early modern Europe. So modern Europe would be what? After 1492. Who was running Europe after 1492? See, it was them. Now, sorry, but look at stats up to date. Modern day America. Huh?
You mean like race? Or like,
It's gonna tell you, and he's gonna probably show you a plethora of videos. The point is, there's plenty of evidence. It's the same thing. All right. So these are the same people that was in that wild-like mentality. All right. And here it is. They upright, they shave their beard. Now there's a trend going on, which you see. What's the last time you took a shower? Amongst Edomites. And these motherfuckers will tell you days, they'll give you some stupid scientific shit.
Yeah.
And try to say, to justify their madness, Like you had the celebrities actually pushing their white people. They was talking about how they don't take their child's bath until they see some dirt on them. Like showers is not important. Alright? But these are supposed to be the upright people.
But that's their spirit. That's why you had the guy Arthur Koshner who exposed them in the book of 13 Tribes. They're the same fucking people, man. Ain't nothing changed. These devils, especially with fucking rats. The small hats, they some of the most disgusting, filthiest people that ever walked the goddamn face of the earth, man. If not the most disgusting people that walked the earth. That's how the scriptures refer to them as the vile people on the basis of men. The lowest form of life. That's the fucking rats. Really their whole nation, but out of that nation, that's the goddamn rats, man. Wearing that fucking yarmulke, wearing all that black and Saturn worshipers. King David wouldn't be caught dead in no shit like that. And they got the fucking nerve to run around calling themselves the Jews, man. Alright? But they're the basis of men, they're the devil, man. Like we're going into how vile they are, that's instinctive in them, man. It's in their fucking DNA to be that disgusting, man. Esau was a man of the field, man. But Esau was being raised up. He was being raised up righteous under the law. But nonetheless, he still was a man of the field. He had that fucking scent on him and everything. That's how his father Isaac knew who he was, knew his sin. These devils don't wash their ass, man. They don't, man. They think because they got pale skin that they don't have to wear lotion. Like they don't get ashy and shit. Their skin is fucking disgusting. Attracted to these fucking devils, man. Lice and all that shit. I'm not saying that black people don't get that, but that's very rare. It's not common as it is for black people to get ticks and lice and all that kind of shit. as it is with these so-called white people. It reminds you one thing. So-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, the conditions we live in, we're denied certain things, man.
Yeah.
You know, our communities are neglected when it comes to sanitation, sanitary cleanliness, and things like that. These fucking crackers got it made. There's no excuse if you do not take a shower and take a goddamn bath, man. There's no excuse. You know? Jake might be struggling, he might not have fucking hot water. You know? So he gotta go through more hurdles and fucking obstacles in order to wash his ass. You know? He might have to take a fucking bird bath, but he gonna wash up. He gonna put some water on his flesh, man. You know? But what's your devil's excuse, man? What's your goddamn excuse? You know, you stay in hotel suites, you live in fucking mansions, you live in the suburbs, right? Come on, man. Ain't no fucking excuse, but the fact is that you're a goddamn devil, and you're nothing but vile fucking vermin, man. That's what you are. You so-called white people.
Yeah. What's that? Brother, get that? What the Joe?
You got me on this one.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah, that's
It was
what
taller than the earth.
Yeah.
Taller than the earth. They say, this is what they say. They say, when it comes to life, curly hair is harder than life. And I'm not talking about the Native American Latino tribes because they have wavy curly hair. But if you have that straight, long, dry hair, it said not ticks, lice are more attracted to them. Because they feed off the blood of your skin on your head. But the curly hair is more harder for them to feed off the blood of your scalp. And that's what they say. You know what I'm saying? So the point is that, like the scripture say in the book of Job, they were viler than the earth. So they were doing unimaginable things. Like Job said, what? I wouldn't even let them be with the flocks of my dogs. Why? Because they was having sex with dogs in the day.
You got the article?
Yeah. I also have
Oh, no, 13 is the skin. And 13 is the what they said, blondes have more fun. That's not the guys, well, they have more fun because, you know, they're not that intelligent.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 13, verse 29. If a man or a woman have a plague upon the head or the beard, then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a dry scalp, even leprosy upon the head or beard.
Yeah, and that's what happened back then. You had certain jakes that got leprosy. Certain Israelites that got leprosy. All right? You know, so that was an unclean thing back in the law, statute, and commandments of Yahweh Mahashem. Yahweh Shai. That was an unclean thing to have leprosy. You know? But now you got the black woman, the Latino woman, all she wants to do is have blonde hair, man. When it goes to show you the law, he was unclean. And the only reason why we can deal with the so-called white man that have blonde hair, right, is because they're clean lepers. So if they touch somebody, they can get leprosy too. That was a heavy curse, man. Death is better than getting leprosy. For an Israelite, you know, so the priest would say, you got a blonde hair, that's leprosy, now you're unclean. Now you can't be amongst the other Israelites. It's like we're married. That's a prime example.
Hey, you see these devils, they just put
fancy words on it. Been alive, they call it albinism. It's leprosy according to the Bible. You know? That's what it is. Albinism basically means white. That's when you get Albanian from, which is basically talking about the land, the snow-capped mountains and shit like that out there in that region. You know, Albany, all that shit means white. You get albinism from albino. But the so-called white man is not white. He's a leopard. He's a leopard. Okay? You know, so they can put all the fancy words they want to put on it. According to the scriptures, he's a goddamn leopard. Like the elder was going into, you have what you call clean lepers, and you have unclean lepers.
Right.
You know? In which the so-called white man is still a leopard nonetheless. He's just a clean leper.
Yeah, he's just a clean leper.
He's a clean leper.
You can love him, kiss him, have
Right.
sex with him and all that.
Just like you see some Jake women that are albinos, right? You can see they got all the so-called Negro features.
But they
right?
got blonde hair.
Yeah, the blonde woolly hair.
The blonde woolly hair with the see-through eyes, the clear
Right.
eyes. Because
Green
two
eyes, blue eyes.
because two black people can have albino, but two white people can't have it. So dark skin people.
Right.
And then multiple creatures, really all creatures can have a form of albino.
Yes.
But it just goes to show you who the so-called white man comes from.
Right.
He doesn't come from two white people. He comes from a black man and a black woman called Isaac and Rebecca, man. That's who he comes from. That was an albino, that was an Edomite, man.
And that was a curse put upon him.
That was a curse that was put upon him for what he did all the way back as Cain, yo. When he deceived Eve, man. You know?
That's who they are as a nation of people.
A
So you might
cursed
have
people.
You might have an Israelite woman
That's albino.
or a man that's albino, but still an Israelite.
So that, yep.
You know? But the so-called white man, their whole nation are cursed with leprosy. That's why Esau was trying to get with black women, the darkest woman he could find, Canaanite women, Cushite women, to try to bring that melanin back. It's a seed.
And it still didn't fuck.
It still don't work.
She still came out like a so-called fucking blonde hair, blue-eyed, so-called white man or white woman.
Right, because that's a curse. That's put on. You know? So it goes to show you, you stupid ass niggas out there that's bleaching your skin, dyeing your fucking hair blonde, putting blue contacts, green contacts in your eyes, all right? That you don't have no wisdom according to the Holy Scriptures, man. You don't have no wisdom. You have a lot of self-hatred, man. You know? And you're trying to be like the goddamn devil. You know? Because if you was born a leper, you wouldn't feel so fucking blessed, man.
No,
You know? If you was born with that albinism shit, you wouldn't feel so blessed. Because the average black person that's an albino, you think they all jibbery and happy because they fucking skin is
hell
light?
no, they fucked up. They
Yeah.
can't even go in the sun, man. They go in the sun and their eyes, you know what I'm saying? Yo, they can't even go in the sun. They don't feel happy and chipper about
A
that
lot of
shit,
times when
man.
people look at them, they look at them like, oh, that looks weird.
Yeah.
It looks kind of off. But I'm just saying, like some people can't, they can't. These stupid motherfuckers don't know what that's leprosy. You know, back in the days, in the ancient world, you was like a plague. They cast them out. Get them
That's
out
what
of
they did to Esau.
Yeah. You know, they wouldn't even want you around them, man. You know? Now you got the whole fucking world trying to become leprous.
You gotta chill.
Like
You should see how you walk.
That's why the dark ages did that to Esau, man. They ran him up into the mountain, man. Because looking at that thing on the earth, everybody dark. Hey, you got this freak of nature walking around looking like a fucking zombie.
Yeah, that's something. That's what it is. Bring some circus sideshow.
Yeah, exactly.
Here, robbing and stealing on top of
Yeah,
that.
and then being all wicked and robbing and stealing and all that. Yeah.
I gotta make a point too. Even like the so-called lighter skin tribes, I ain't nothing but different shades of brown. Because I seen fucking, you ever seen a Ephraimite with fucking leprosy? You can see the difference. Like they got that pale white looking skin.
Yeah, but what the scriptures say, Ephraim should be like a cake unturned,
Right.
or undone. You know, that's why you got a lot of Ephraimites that look like so-called white people, right? They're straight up Ephraimites. And then they're racist against the Ephraimites that got brown skin.
They all fucked up.
The Puerto Ricans is mad at the other Puerto Ricans that got darker skin, man. That shit is crazy, man.
That's a little overshot.
And
Then when you see me, they see me.
oh yeah, the Afro-Latinas. But that's what they say, make the race pure or something. Keep the race pure. Something like oxide, something like that.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Something about
yeah.
that brown side.
Yeah. Oh yeah, be more like a so-called white person as much as possible.
They've always tried to push that now.
Because it's called colorism, stemming from them goddamn Spaniards that set up that system, man. You know? The Spaniards set that system up against them, man. When the Spaniards, which is another group of wicked ass so-called white people that went down there and conquered the Northern Kingdom, they had a yo, you ever seen that chart of all that the Spaniards set up on the Northern Kingdom, of all the different colors and what they can have and what they can't have? Yo, it's a major chart, yo. And they still keeping this bullshit to today, man. Colorism, man, amongst the Spanish-speaking tribes. We know it's amongst the so-called Negroes, but it's heavily amongst the so-called Dominicans, Mexicans, Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? It's heavy amongst you, yo. I mean, y'all really into that colorism heavy, man. You had a Mexican dude. His own mother hated him because he was too brown. He was speaking about it. He was speaking. He said, "Yo, my own motherfucker hated me because I got brown skin." And the Mexicans hate the Oaxacans because they got brown skin. No, shit, they just black as this brother, the Oaxacan Indians, man. But that's the curses, though.
Yeah.
You know?
Self-hating motherfucker.
Yeah. But you know what? When your Hawashai come, all that self-hatred gonna go right out the window, man.
Because it makes perfect sense. My God is black man, like you say in the scriptures. He's the black man, like I said in the scriptures, and he's the man. Everybody want to be like him. You know? They go with the power goes, bro.
I'm gonna get you
Got
that.
it?
Yeah, that's psychological conflict.
Yes, it is.
They made a number with the minds of the people. Hosea 4:6.
Yeah,
My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge.
Cherry one.
Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee.
Yeah, like how the elders just broke it down. It's not just the northern kingdom, it's also the southern kingdom too. Because in the islands, a lot of the women, they bleach their skin. You know? They literally bleach their skin. You know? And you know that women are easily acceptable to hate. Because they see the so-called white man as a god. So you want to emulate that god. Well, he's really not but a vile piece of shit. Period. He's the vilest being on the planet Earth. That's why everybody that makes a deal with him, they're going to destroy him. You know? Nobody wants him to be around.
Well, no. That's not true. That's not true. Negroes, Latinos want to be around the so-called white man.
And everybody else.
Except for all the other heathen nations.
Yeah.
That's the only friend that the so-called white man got. It's a bunch of stupid-ass Negroes, West Indian Haitians, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's the only friend that they got on the whole entire earth. Yeah, exactly. No, that's love it.
I always say that. You don't love a bitch.
No, I'm saying that's her love.
Oh, yeah.
And you Latino women too. You all into the white man too. You Native Americans on the reds. I heard plenty of stories about you Native American women wanting to deal with white men, man.
Oh. Giving their children to you got that?
Yeah.
survive. 200%.
Yeah, they practice that.
Never trust thine enemy, but like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness.
And that's the problem. That's the problem with you Latinos and Native Americans. You still trust your enemy. All right. There's a trend going on.
Still want that?
Nah, it's okay. You don't have experience. There's a trend going on. That trend is when they look like Jake is getting together, then all of a sudden you have other Jakes and like kind of forcing a narrative like to start trouble amongst Jake. And you got that clown on Officer Tatum.
Yeah.
Right? You got a clown like Officer Tatum. He's pushing that Jake ain't shit, that the white man is good, all that sort of shit. Because he's trying to spin the narrative like they're something good. And all he's doing is making the people trust the enemy.
Viva la casa. I won't be the race
You're talking over me.
Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass. Thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away.
Yeah, how can it go wipe away? And that's the same thing to this day that they practice amongst their children. All right? They push that narrative to their children. That's why their children always they feel entitled to things. You know, they want to take over. All right, that's why they're always upset about you losing our country because they have this inherited bias that they're supposed to have everything.
No, it's good.
You know, so you act, just because they seem like they're humbling themselves. They're not humbling themselves, all right? There's nothing about them that's humbling. Because they're the same devils that's gonna act like they feel your plight, for your problems. And as soon as it switches over, they're completely against you. They only go where the emotion goes. Like a lot of things happen, they never look, they never go back and see how you're doing. They don't give two shits about Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. Okay? You know? Because why should they?
Yeah.
Hey.
So basically, a famous saying that the Mexicans say, which is the tribe of Issachar, they say, "Hay que mejorar la raza," which means we must improve the race.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah.
So the only way they can, according to how they can improve it, is by getting lighter. Because they see that the so-called white man gets all the perks, everything like that. He gives two shits about that. He don't give two shits about. He don't give two shits about you or your people. All right. That's why you're not supposed to trust this. You're not supposed to trust each other at all. Yeah, that's why you do it. You're not supposed to trust at all. Even though he act like he cares about you, he don't give two shits. Hey, how much Mexicans, Cubans, they're all the southern, the northern kingdom that voted for Trump. And when the time came, when it was Ice Baby, he didn't give two shits about it. You know, Cubans for Trump. The same lady, her husband, got fucking ousted. Your mistrust is your destruction. All right? You want to purify the race? Get rid of all the wicked amongst you. That's there you go. But they're all fucking wicked. You know? The Mexicans, what, they worship the dead. Ain't nothing righteous about them.
I mean, there's a famous little skit from Joe Morgan, the one that played in the movie Terminator, where I think the movie's called Dinner in America. He basically got at the so-called white dude, and the guy was like, "Well, say something." He's like, "You want me to say something? You people are the virus. You people are the virus. You have done so much to sum it all up. You have done wicked, and you got to get cut off." know, that's how we feel. You know, these devils gotta get good. That's the only way the purity will flourish. Shit is impure. They represent everything that is impure.
Are you trying to seek to look like a leprous dog that is cursed? And even the sun has a problem with these people. But yet you want to, let's show you that this is backwards. That's why you call Stockholm Syndrome. Alright? And a lot of our people have that. But here it is, this man's the foulest shit in the world. He don't take baths, he don't eat his food cooked. You know? He stinks. Everything about him, it turns to death. But you want to emulate that. You know? That's why the Lord's going to have to get rid of 2/3 of the nation. Your love and affection for the so-called white man is your downfall. Finish it.
He says, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand in thy place.
And that's what happened in history. How did it get up in Europe? Because they trusted these little rat bastards. You know? And most likely it was done by finances and everything like that. But here it is, this wild beast from the fucking field. You clean him up. How the hell you gonna keep that shit beside you? Oh, because he's a good killer? Oh, he's an excellent killer. Alright? But this whole thing is, that was the Lord's will, right? Everything that's happened is because the Lord wanted it to happen. To lift these fucking people up out of the dust, so they can bring them right back to that dusty state. Right there, because they're the true dust of the planet. Go ahead.
Lest he seek to take thy seat. Just like it says, let's read over. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith.
No, and remember this. That's one thing our people have forgotten. The lights on. They have forgotten who their true enemy is. Matter of fact, they accept them. See, the black woman be mad when a so-called black man get with a white woman. But guess what? When that black man has a child with a white woman, that child is gonna be, he's an Israelite. But when you sleep with the enemy, you carry the enemy's another nation in you. So now you're the enemy. All right? It was crazy. I looked it up. Remember Django? And there was a woman. When they went to that boxing and shit like that, she had fucking a maiden. No, a maiden. Yeah. You remember? Yeah. So she was looking. You know what I mean? So I was looking. I looked up. Tell me about that bitch. She's good for white man.
Who?
No, you don't know her name. I don't remember her name. But then I looked it up. How many black women? Because you know, there's a lot of period pieces. You have actors and actresses that was in period pieces. So the actress, she played, the damsel in distress, or the damsel that was under the so-called white man. And then she's in a relationship in real life with the so-called white man. That shit is fucking ass backwards, yo. Here it is with the enemy, and there's plenty of evidence of white, so-called black women being taken out, being depleted, executed by the love of the so-called white man in hand.
My Candace Owens?
Not Candace Owens. I'm talking about a lot of them in general. A lot of them become and he's dead. There was one, I forgot the name of the guy. He killed his wife. He killed his family. He got locked up. And guess what, bro? As he's locked up for life, a black woman marries him. You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. So you having an unhealthy love and affection for your captors, right? Love your captors. Love your captors. Get Jeremiah 30 and 12? No, Jeremiah 30 and 12. I think it's 12 or 11.
Jeremiah 30:12. It says, "For thus saith the Lord, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous."
And now the bruise and that uncurable is what the Lord did unto us. And not because the so-called white man did. He didn't have the power to do that. We just talk about how much of a caveman he is, how vile he is. The Lord did that. All right? Go on. Let us go.
It says, "There is none to plead thy cause, that thou mayest be bound up. Thou hast no healing medicine. All thy lovers have forgotten thee."
Key word. All thy lovers have forgotten. Hosea 2 and 10. Read it in a while. All thy lovers. There's another one in Ezekiel. I can't remember. But you know what? All Ezekiel 16 about 40. You hold that. 44. You got it?
Hosea 2 and 10. It says, Hosea 2 and 10. "And now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers." And
Read that again. Read it. Start it again.
Hosea 2 and 8. "For she did not know that I gave her corn and wine and oil."
Who's the she?
Israel.
Israel. Jeremiah 6 and 2. The nation of Israel is a woman unto the Lord. So the she is talking about is Israel. The Lord's saying, like, look, she don't know that I'm the one that gave her this. All these good things. All right? Go ahead.
That I gave her corn, wine, and oil,
That means like the Lord was the provider to us. Right? Go ahead.
and multiplied her silver and gold,
Keep going.
which they prepared for Baal.
Which they prepared for whom? Another God. So all the good things that we had as a people, we gave reverence to another God. Meaning that we gave reverence to another man. Like you the one that provided for us. Right? Go ahead.
Therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and
Like,
will
what's you know? OJ Juice, something like that. So, Walking in the Rain. You know that song? All right, so the song is a flat thing, OJ something. And the whole song is bad. He's talking about he found his woman walking in the rain with another dude. So and at the end of the song, you don't rock it. At the end of the song, he's confronting the bitch, like, look, you didn't know no name brand, nothing. You didn't know nothing. I found you as nothing. I made you who you are. So I'm gonna take all the shit I gave you, and you get out. And that's exactly how he said it. What's his paraphrase? But it was dope. So the same thing the Lord did unto us. Like, bitch, I'm the one that gave you all this. Give me that. You know what I'm saying? In today's fucked up environment, you can't do that to a woman. She'll take you to court, it'll sound famous. But the Lord's like, nah, ain't no court gonna take that from you. I gave you that, I'm taking it from you. Alright? Go ahead.
Oh, okay. It says, sorry.
2 and 9, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It says, therefore will I return and take away my corn in the time thereof, and my wine in the season thereof, and will recover my wool and my flax given to cover her nakedness. And now,
who's making this? Israel's making this. Because the Lord is the one that clothed us. See, the Lord is the one that supplied us. He gave us everything that we desired. And all he asks in return to be loyal. Just like every brother here, if you have a woman, what is the number one thing that you want from your woman?
not for her to commit adultery. Don't commit adultery.
What else? There you go. That's just the one word. The one word, loyalty. That's when we get into, as a man, when you get into a relationship with a woman, you just want one thing. And her, on the other hand, she wants the fucking world. And then some. All right? And all you want is one thing. And when you don't have that one thing, what do you do, brothers? If she's not loyal to, what do you do? That's it. You know?
Leave her.
If she plays the harlot, like, yo, bitch, you gotta go. All right? There's some brothers that had women and like, nah, she would never do that. And when she did it, like, damn, yo, I can't believe that shit happened. Bro, that's part of the person.
Some people can't take it.
Some people can't take it.
They lose their mind.
Exactly. But what that happens to us is what we did unto the Lord. It's nothing personal, you know? But we was like that to the Lord. Like we was his woman. He gave us everything. He gave us land, he gave us name, he gave us riches. But we turn our back on him. So that's why every brother's relationship is not so great right now. All right? And the one thing that you desire from your woman, not that she cooks and clean, and that's part of the thing, but it's loyalty. Let my rod be the only rod that you know. And what does she do? She still say, fuck your rod, fuck you, this and that. She don't believe in you. That's how the Lord feels about us. All right? So he's like, nah, I'm taking everything, bitch. Go back to the side. Go ahead.
It says,
Hey, bro, you gotta put your emotions to the side when it comes to the. We fucked up as a people. You know? That's why our women is like they looking at our enemy for anything. Like no matter what, how hairy and sticky he is, he's a piece of shit. He could be a fucking bum. She would take him rather than she would take you. But I mean, she's fucked up. So it doesn't matter. Go ahead.
right. It says, and now will I discover her lewdness in the sight of her lovers,
Inside of her love.
and none shall deliver her out of my hand.
And none, that's the key. And none, meaning what? All her other lovers. They're not gonna be able to save her.
No captain save her.
No captain save her. You see those adultery movies, right? She got the side dude and shit like that, and he stepped up like, and then when you see the gun, and he's like, oh shit, you know what? And she's like, no, go. You can fight him. I was like, all right. Have the so-called white man, your lover, come up to protect you. He ain't gonna do that. I'm like, nah. It was just my turn. She just gave it up. You know?
Right, or what most men do when they catch their woman cheating, they want to go kill the man.
Yeah?
But, you know, it's like we say, it takes two to tango.
Yes.
So, you know, really your anger should be directed towards her mainly.
Right. She's the one that spread the legs. But it's ass backwards. It's totally ass backwards. Alright? That was done by design. But the Lord is like, look, none of your lovers can deliver. Go back to Jeremiah.
Back in Jeremiah 30 and verse 14. All thy lovers have forgotten thee.
So all thy lovers have forgotten. Why? Because the heat is on. They're like, nah, bitch. I just used you. And you looking stupid. You know, like how a bitch is naked. You know, she has no shame when she's playing the harlot. But when she's caught by a man, she will cover herself. Like, no, bitch, I know you naked. You know what I'm saying? You got caught. That's Israel. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. That's why you fucked up to this day. You got caught. You naked. You looking like a fucking whore that you know. The Lord's about to like, what about that? You know what I'm saying? Because that's what he's about to do. You got that, okay. No, Isaiah 30.
It's Isaiah 31 and 1. Woe to them that go down to Egypt
That's
and
the
help.
one. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. Go ahead.
Stay on horses and trust in chariots.
Sure, because you trusted in who? You trusted in your enemy. Go on.
Because they are many, and their horsemen because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord Yahweh.
So they're not looking into their Savior. All right. I was just talking about this long ago. You know your immediate family are your heroes and your villains in your life. Everybody's a legend in your family. But you're your uncle, man. Let me tell you about your uncle. Man, your uncle, he gets pussy. He goes out the block. You know, he smack people up, blah 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 blah. And you're like, oh my God, my uncle. When you see the dude, like, you know, like, oh shit, the way he's moving, everybody's in your family is a legend. You know, because that's, you know what I'm saying, that's who you know first before you know everything else outside that family. So the Lord, Yahweh Bashim Shot, is our legendary father. Alright? So he's like, he did this for us? That's why we're supposed to tell our sons, now sons, about the history. Like here, the Lord got us out of Egypt. He destroyed the Egyptians. He did that. Because he's our champion. He saves us.
But that man in your family have been a prophet of the Lord. See how much a legend he became.
Yeah, that guy, he's crazy.
Black sheep.
Yeah.
No.
It's quiz.
He's crazy.
You gotta say that Haitian way. You gotta say that Haitian way.
It's quiz.
That guy's quiz.
That's exactly how it was saying. But when it comes down to the Lord, that's how the Lord was supposed to be looked upon by Israel. Alright? So they, instead of seeking the Lord, their champion, their creator, they rather trust in the oppressor, the Egyptians. The same motherfuckers that had them in captivity, they want to go back to that. That's fucked up. Here is the Lord took you out of slavery. You get treated like shit. As long as you take care of you. That's in Ezekiel, that's in Hosea. And you turn around, you looking good, you looking fresh, your body's built. You looking sexy and everything like that. You got all the jewels, you looking yeah, everybody looking at it, yeah, that's a bad one. But nobody can have it. But now you go back to the same one, you go back to him like, yeah, see, look how I look. And he's like, oh, word, no, bitch. And he talk shit to you, and you still go back to the motherfucker. That's Israel, bro. Am I lying? All right. That's why we think the Lord got to smack us up a few times. Now there's a thing, like a lot of older chicks are saying, they look at videos of women and falling out, and it's like, yo, back in my time, you smack a bitch 1, 2, 3, she gets back in her place. Why they reverting back to that? Because that's the only way to make women get back in line. So that's the same thing that's happening to the nation of Israel right now. You getting smacked up. You think the ice thing is a light thing? That's a smack, like, pop, pop, bitch. You ain't nothing. You're like, what did I do? What did I do wrong? You know? But
they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek the Lord.
Neither seek the Lord. Neither seek the one that saved them out of their situation. Go ahead.
Yet he also is wise and will bring evil and will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers and against the help of them that work iniquity.
Yeah, by attacking everybody. It's crazy as it is. If you're thinking about it in a madman mentality, all the motherfuckers that committed adultery, I'm fucking up for everybody. That's what the Lord is doing. I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna kill all your lovers. All right? And there's nothing or no one can get in my way when I do this. That's how the Lord is doing it, yo. He's going blitz. He's about to blitz everybody, yo. You know? He's like, I'm keeping the good ones, and I'm fucking everybody else up. Go ahead.
It says, now the Egyptians are men and not power,
Yeah.
and their horses flesh and not spirit.
Meaning they ain't nothing. You know, like you watch those films of the princess. She's about to marry into somebody else that's royal, but she's just gonna have sex with a servant. Like, look, this is like with a servant. I can kill him like that. Right? You pick this piece of shit? So I'm gonna kill you, and I'm gonna kill your mother. Go ahead. Easy, bro.
So when the Lord shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they shall all fail together.
So they all, so you and your lovers gonna go down. Alright? Like the other guy said, the only idiots that still love the so-called white man is you. Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. You're the only morons in the planet Earth that love this man. Everybody else saying like, get this motherfucker away from us. He's a devil. You're like, nah, but he's my devil. Like, okay. You're like, okay, bitch. And then when the Lord comes comes back and finds you all beaten, battered, and bruised up, I'm like, please help me. Bitch, you made your choice. And I'm gonna burn you like I'm gonna burn this motherfucker.
Yep.
And I'm gonna burn all the other lovers that you had on the side. They're gonna get burned up too. And your good sister over here, it's just coming with me. We're gonna see you on the other side. That's how the Lord's gonna do it. It's cruel, but it's reality. When you put it in a man's perspective, it makes sense. Why the Lord's gonna go AWOL on everybody. Like, how dare you touch my bitch? You touch my property? You know what I'm saying? You fucked up my children? Ain't no man in his right mind that has children, when he hears the woman that he was dealing with another guy, and he does something to his children, he go, like, what? Daddy, yeah, he did this to me. What? I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill that motherfucker, and I'm gonna kill his mom too. All right? That's how they supposed to think. And that's how the Lord's coming. Like, you fucking mine? You fucking my piece of property? I'm gonna fuck you up. Yeah, I allowed you to do whatever you want, but you went too far with it. And you even attack my good ones, my good girls? Oh, hell no. I'm coming for you. Hey, fuck, like, what's up?
That's why the scriptures tell you all these things that thou done, thou art together among thyself.
Yep.
But I will do for my not.
Yep.
So they did all this wickedness. They figured that because they've been doing it according to earth time, that Allah Bahashim al was with them. But they don't realize which the wicked productive people, they realize it. Some even poor Israelites realize it. That Allah Bahashim al will get revenge for what the so-called white man and blacks, Latinos and Native Americans. So they did all this wickedness for 450 years. So they figure, well, shit, if we did it this long, the Lord is like us. He's with this. See, but that's the trap. That's the trap. Okay? The trap is the Most High gonna have you do all this stuff, and then he's gonna get your fucking ass unexpectedly. To fuck your ass up, man.
Boy, red-handed.
That's right. You got your hand, you were caught with your hand in a cookie jar, man. You know?
Ultimate honey trap.
Ultimate honey trap.
Catch your predator. Catch your predator. Yeah, you caught that predator. Oh, bro. And ain't gonna be no cops waiting there to arrest your ass. Well, the elites, they're gonna get arrested. You go right to build.
It says here, all thy lovers have forgotten thee, they seek thee not. I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. Why criest thou for thine affliction? Thy sorrow is incurable, for the multitude of thine iniquity, because thy sins were increased. I have done these things unto thee. Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured. And all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give to a prey.
Which is the kingdom of heaven. When Yahweh Shai rules the entire planet Earth, the whole universe, you're going to be under our foot forever. Alright? Until you built, and you're going to get rid of you for good. And all the other nations, you are not joint heirs with us. You will be saved. You also going to suffer for what you did to us. Thus said the scriptures. So that being said, shalom to the elected nation. Shalom. Rest in good.